Kadesh is the first step. It's very important that we prepare for the Seder night well beforehand. It's better not to go to work on the eve of Passover, because during the time of the temple also, what did they used to do? Mr. Agalar, they used to bring the Korban Pesach.
Yes.
So we know that Passover is a very fascinating thing, that already the eve of it is really holy. Like, you know, from already the third hour of the morning, are we allowed to eat chametz? No. And by the fourth hour, we have to get what? Rid of it. So already the smell and the feel and a lot of laws of Passover start when? Now, why is it so important to make sure that your Pesach table is nice and ready right well before it becomes nightfall, the night of Passover? Why? Because we Jews have the ultimate GPS book that guides us how to live. The Torah, and I want to tell you a fascinating thing about the Haggadah, Mr. Zagarian. Did you know that the most well-known printed book after the Torah, the Bible, even more copies than the Siddur, is the Haggadah? It's the most, because really, every house, I'm sure it has more Haggadahs than Siddurs. Probably nowadays there's more Haggadahs than even the Torah itself. So, our rabbis were geniuses. There's one night in the year that is devoted to teach our children why we have to go through this back-baking work to do chametz, right? Our entire house has to be eradicated from what? Chametz. We can't own chametz, we can't eat chametz, we can't have benefit from chametz. And Judaism is the most difficult of all religions. So there's one night devoted to our children. Passover is all about the kids. If the kids don't participate in Passover, chas v'shalom, God forbid, it's like a waste of time. So therefore, we have to prepare our table, the Pesach table, already way before, from like noon, 2 o'clock. So once the father comes from the synagogue, he can quickly do what? Say the Kiddush and start the Seder. Why? So the children won't sleep. Because what's the main part of the Seder? Really the highlight of the Seder is Man Ishtana. The children have to be involved. The reason why we Persians have the very interesting and controversial, the Ashkenazim, they a little bit freak out. Dayenu, we take the onions and hit each other, is to make it a very engaging and exciting night for who? The children. So if everybody comes 2 hours late, Persian standard time, to the Seder, and the kids are asleep and they can't say the Manishtan, is that worth much? No. So therefore, we have to bend over backwards, make every effort that we should start the Pesach Seder like 7:30 p.m., 7 p.m., so the children should be what? Awake. Shh, shh, shh. So, we know that even those people that are worried for Rabbeinu Tam, you don't need to be. And this year, when's the first night of Passover this year?
Friday night.
Friday night. We don't say Shalom Aleichem. Did you know that?
Why?
Or Eshet Chayil. We don't. Because the Ben Ish Chai explains in Rav Po'alim that since the idea is, it's not forbidden, chas v'shalom. It's not a sin to say it. But it's not necessary to be said. Why? Because again, we said the whole idea is that we don't want the children to fall asleep. So therefore, it just adds an extra 5-10 minutes to the whole long ordeal of the Seder, and it's going to cause the children to not be engaged, right? Again, I must confess, before I became very more Torah observant, I remember that, unfortunately, when I was a kid, at my grandmother's Seder, a lot of times the people, like 90% of the crowd, after they would eat, they would pack out. And I've done a lot of interviews. They don't even eat the last 2 cups. That's why the halacha says, it's not time to mess around Passover night. Quickly, you go to Kenisa 6:30, you come right away, and right immediately, the table should be set to do what? Get the show. Get the show on the road. It's a big mitzvah so this year we don't say Shalom Aleichem or Eshet Chayil. It's a big mitzvah at the beginning of the Seder to give the children chocolate and candies so they get excited and stay. Like my personal minhag is that I have a lot of chocolate chips or chocolate almonds, and I'm constantly asking the kids different questions. Yeah. So they don't, in today's, it's very unfortunate, but in the last 20, 30 years, people's attention spans has shortened. So we have to constantly be giving the children different treats to keep them awake. We should if we have beautiful, like this Seder plate, that's really a work of art, it's better to use the your most beautiful silverware and stuff, obviously has to be kosher for Pesach, to set it on the table. Why? To show that we really are noble. God took us out of Egypt from slavery and made us a noble nation. So you should, and also, it's better that everybody should have their own pillow, because there's 4 parts of the Seder that we have to do what? Heseba. What's Heseba? Leaning on your left side. So the 4 cups that we drink have to at least be 3 ounces, and we have to lean on our left side. The matzah that we eat, korech, that we make the sandwich, and afikomen, all have to be done what? Leaning. And another very important halacha is that all the mitzvahs of the night of Seder, women and children over 5 or 6, depending on how sharp and smart the kid is, if he understands, you have to give the children the 4 cups. Okay. Women have to also lean and drink the 4 cups. Children also have to eat matzah. So may Hashem truly help us have a Passover Seder that is full of joy, full of reading the Haggadah, like we're going to get to in English, or if everybody speaks Farsi, so everybody's engaged. Not everybody starts schmoozing and saying Lashon Hara while the older person of the family is reading for himself. It should be a presentation to the entire table of why we're Jewish,